You look terrible. I want you to eat. I want you to rest well, and a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
It's too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
You know, there's a lot of reasons why I wish my channels didn't get terminated. Especially my first channel. I was in love with that channel. I'm telling you, I was eternally crushed when that channel got flagged down. I'm telling you, I was devastated. But after the first channel, losing another and another over the years, it wasn't as bad as losing the first one. But one of the reasons why I wish my channels did get flagged down is so I can show people how long I've talked about certain people, places, and things. Like back when Trump was running for president in 2015, I think it was either the first or second video I ever did about him was me telling people what concerns me about the demon. And I had a short list of things that I went through. Racism. Him being a racist was way down the list. Him being a racist is almost no concern to me because there'll never be a day where we won't deal with racism. But I told people that my number one concern with Trump is that he's an aspiring imperialist. I said imperialist, not that perception of the world that comes from a self-centered, customized, privatized, and skewed tunnel vision outlook that people call white supremacy. Imperialism. No, not white imperialism, just imperialism. The actual situation that the world has been in. Imperialism. An aspiring imperialist where just being a billionaire is no longer good enough. You know, these kind of people get bored with that after a while. Having too much money or more money than they could ever possibly spend, you just don't do it for them no more after a while. But since that channel I first told people about that one got terminated, I've reminded people of my primary concerns on other channels during his presidency. Eminent domain. Eminent domain is one of the things I use to say that Trump is not somebody who you want to be president. And whoever don't know, eminent domain is where the government comes in on some Godfather shit, making you an offer that you can't refuse. Say the government wants to run a freeway or maybe a railroad through your property, house or otherwise. They come with the money and you have to take it. There is no, I'm not selling. You have to take it. That's eminent domain. But Trump tried using eminent domain on people back when he was just doing casinos and hotels. And I said, you don't want somebody who thinks like that to become commander-in-chief. I've been saying that since 2015.
Well, Greenland, I don't know, it got released somehow. It's just something we talked about. Denmark essentially owns it. We're very good allies with Denmark. We protect Denmark like we protect large portions of the world. So the concept came up, and I said certainly I'd be, strategically it's interesting, and we'd be interested, but we'll talk to them a little bit. It's not number one on the burner, I can tell you that.
And he's at it again in 2025. I talked about his ambitions for Greenland during his first term. An aspiring imperialist. You want a whole country full of people. And he said he'll acquire Canada through applying economic pressures. What he said, those were his exact words. Economic pressure. Kind of like the eminent domain thing, in a way. And the only thing that could be good about the thing that Trump is saying is that Trump is revealing what conspiracy theorists have been saying about all these different countries, which is that they are all actually businesses. Trump sees an entire country full of people as just businesses, as business, like commodities, and he lets the world know it.
Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion
No.
What is the strategy?
Yeah.
And then
I
if
can't
that's
assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China.
Position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions or draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time.
Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force.
An aspiring imperialist who is in line with the New World Order agenda. And never mind them prosecuting him and trying to kill him and all that, because that's just gang warfare. Mob syndicate activity is all that is, where, say you have a few bosses that wants to start selling heroin, and the other bosses say no because it's bad for business, it'll bring too much heat on the organization. But they decide to sell heroin anyway. Now a war starts. That's why they've been after Trump. He's one of them, but he's rogue. Like how they always have to kill Tommy in those mob movies.
I mean, what's right is right. They don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, he's one of them. That's why he wants Greenland, the Panama Canal, and Canada, the North American Union. Remember back in the day on here around 2008, 2009, when conspiracy theorists was telling people about how the powers that be wants to combine all countries? One of those combinations was the North American Union. With the currency was to be called the Amero.
When Mexican President Vicente Fox leaves office this week and Felipe Calderon takes his place, President Bush will be the last of the so-called three amigos. Bush, Fox, and of course Canadian Prime Minister Paul Martin were the originators of the so-called Security and Prosperity Partnership, which critics call nothing more than a North American Union. It means open borders, commerce at all cost, and by the way, without the approval of either American voters or the U.S. Congress. Christine Romans reports.
That video was uploaded onto YouTube 18 years ago. If I don't forget, I'll put it in the description box and you'll see the date on there. You heard mention of open borders, like it's looking right now in the United States and other countries. And South America is part of that idea too, and Trump is part of that agenda. He couldn't come out loud and say he wants South America too, because that would stir up his base. He can't do that right now. But part of this global surge of the borders is part of that agenda. And he wants to have biometric tracking put on all of us. Trump helped this immigration thing that we see. He's one of them. And to the dummies, the idiots, the clowns, listen. The ones who are thinking while I'm talking, see, that's why Kamala should have been president.
No, that is incidental.
No, because she's a scumbag too. Her and her administration and her following of woke progressives in their Luciferian theology. No, she shouldn't have been president. And she's president right now anyway. So enjoy it while it lasts. But another one of the things I cited as a concern of mine when it comes to Trump is his champagne taste. Champagne taste meaning that he thinks that everything should be expensive. Trump don't like that meaning you can afford a steak all willy-nilly. He thinks that certain things should be reserved for the wealthy. And when he was president, I did numerous videos showing what he was doing to farms. And in one of the recent videos I did about inflation, I had images on the screen. Images like him saying trade wars are good. Images of farmers. I didn't play audio, but while he was president, I played audio. The images I had on the screen were old images from back when he was president the first time. The farmers were complaining about how he was trying to put them out of business. What Trump did during his administration is a big part of the reason why the price of goods and services are high now. It started with him, then continued by Biden and President Harris. And listen to who Trump put in as Secretary of Agriculture. This is Sonny Perdue. And this is from Trump's first term as president. Trump appointed a man like this.
In an audio recorded interview, Perdue told an agriculture reporter,
"In America, big get bigger and small go out. It's very difficult on an economy of scale to survive milking 40, 50, 60, or even 100 cows."
do you think he understands the dairy industry?
Maybe. He's not here. He's a little removed, I think, from the dairy industry. Getting bigger is not always better.
Champagne taste. Drive all things into the hands of big companies where prices can go way up on everything. Big businesses gets bigger while the small ones go out. That was Trump's Secretary of Agriculture. And if I don't forget, I'm going to have some in the description box about a program called GIPSA. And GIPSA is an acronym. GIPSA. And GIPSA is a policy through the FDA and USDA that deregulates and essentially makes it possible for big farmers to devour small farmers. You know, big industry farms like, what is that, Tyson? That's Trump administration that did that. Trump don't like that we can afford a lobster every now and again, or a house, a big house. Those should be reserved for elites only, according to Trump's mindset of champagne taste. Sonny Perdue and other people like Wilbur Ross, who Trump put in as Secretary of Commerce. Ross said this, and this is a quote. Ross said, "People won't notice the price hike because it's spread out over thousands of products." He was talking about the effects of Trump's trade wars that Trump said are good. Remember, he said trade wars are good. Again, Ross said that people won't notice the price hike because it'll be spread out over thousands of products. Or in other words, Ross said, yeah, we're going to do things that will raise the price on everything. But if everything is high, then how's the public going to know what's high and what's not? The cabinet Trump put in there now, or is going to put in there on January 20th, 21st, is even more wicked than the one he had the first time. Like a dude named Peter Theil. I want y'all to look him up. He has been designated to have a part-time role in the Trump's upcoming administration. And Theil said on the Piers Morgan show that he can't do politics full-time because it'll drive him crazy. Problem. Peter Theil is the surveillance guy. He's the one that's going to help Elon and Vivek set up the biometrics on us. Look up Peter Theil and see what he's into. So, we're still in trouble. Yes, we dodged the bullet with Kamala, but we are not out of trouble. We are still in trouble. And you'll have the right explaining it. A few months ago, I put a video on Rumble talking about how we're going to see a lot of the things that the right has been complaining about turn into good things that's best for the country. And how? How are bad things going to become good things? Because Trump is going to be doing that. That's how things will go from bad to good. And I look at them already making excuses for it, explaining it, and giving reasons for it.
It's not just about the well-documented economic and strategic benefits when it comes to Greenland and Panama Canal. There's another important reason, I think, to follow through with this, which is that it signals our direction as a nation. A country that grows and acquires new land and pursues new opportunities is a living, thriving country. It's a sign of a nation on the rise rather than a nation on the decline. Americans once pursued their manifest destiny into the wilderness and all the way to the Pacific Ocean. That's how our country took its current shape. But most of that happened in the 19th century, and in the 20th century, the drive to reach out, into the unknown took the form of the space program. It brought us all the way to the moon. Since then, however, we've kind of been in stasis, jogging in place. Liberal imperialism took over as we tried to export liberal values to far-flung corners of the world that are thousands of miles away, attempting to impose them on people and cultures that had no interest in them and never will. That was and still is a disaster. That's not the kind of expansion we should pursue, but claiming new land on our continent, in our own part of the world, for our own interests, to help our own country and our own people, that is an idea worth considering.
And you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada.
Now, Trump went on to explain all the obvious arguments in support of annexing Canada. We provide them military support worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And if we were talking about a Middle Eastern country, we would have already invaded by now, or at least launched some rockets and called it a day. But as you heard, Trump doesn't plan on doing any of that with Canada. The plan right now is a humanitarian economic takeover. And that's why after the press conference, Trump posted these upbeat images of a unified North America with Canada and the United States combined. And as you can see, once you get rid of the line between Canada and the United States, the whole continent does look a lot cleaner. It just fits. It's obviously the way it was supposed to be. By that metric, we should take Greenland, the Panama Canal, and Canada immediately.
And they wonder why people be trying to run out of their own country to other places.
You'll never learn.
And before I go, I want y'all to know this. When I say things like it started with Trump, or Biden did it, or Kamala did it, Bush did it, Obama did it, any of these people, know that I know that these things they do was planned out by other people before any of these people ever took office. Matter of fact, the stuff we see them doing was thought up before any of them were even birthed from their mother's womb. They just get in office and further the agenda. They have different ways of going about it, but that's all they do. They just continue on with the plan. But this New World Order thing is from a very, very long time ago. Just know that I know that. And that's it. So, we're still in trouble.